Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It is 6:43 p.m. Excuse me while I get my water here, because my mouth goes dry as soon as I start talking. So just continuing here with the introduction, it's 6:44 p.m., January 14, 2021. So I posted some data just now, and the data came from the Cardio Mobile from my phone, downloaded. It came from, and I have this in on my chest for temperature monitoring, came from this device, which is also monitored on the phone. So I just downloaded the data. But the data also came from, and I'm just showing you where I have the devices picking up the signals. The microwave detector, that's on my body. Okay, so just gonna put it back in here. Excuse me while I do that. So it is 6:45 p.m. I had it in for at least half an hour now. So I'm going to download the data. I also took some EKGs, and I was getting heart palpitations, which showed in the EKGs. So I'll match up that data as well. So I also took some blood pressure measurements, and I'll match that up as well. And I'm going to do it live on camera. So I just showed you where the sensors are, because basically these are sensors: temperature sensor, heart, electrical signals, electrical signals, RF signals from the detector, from the temperature gauge, the temperature sensor, the thermometer, excuse me, and the blood pressure monitor. Maybe I'll throw in the oximeter online for on the screen for you. So I am getting palpitations. I am getting palpitations. So here is the PI. So oxygen 97, PI 2.3 or 3.5, sorry, and 80 heart rate with palpitations right now, because I've been pulsed. And the palpitations, I will show you in the data that I download. It shows clearly from the microwave detector what the signals are that's causing the palpitations. So let me just take my blood pressure here. And as I said, as soon as I start talking, my throat goes dry, and that's because the throat is tight. Just waiting to get a reading before I start a reading of the blood pressure monitor before I start reading this article. The article is by Dr. MERCOLA. I got this from his newsletter. And he talked about the origins of the SARS COV2 virus. So the pressure is 136/76. Because I'm in pain, my back is killing me. Just got a palpitation. So I'm just going to interrupt whatever I'm doing, just moisten my fingers here while I'm reading, and I'm going to take the EKG just to demonstrate on the screen that I'm doing it live. So I'm just going to take a 1 minute reading. And I'll match up the time with the time on the data that I'm going to download from the microwave detector. So the palpitations show as a drop in the EKG graph, an unusual drop. So last night, and I'm hiccuping because my chest is being pulsed, and heat is being generated. Okay, yeah, so just to show you the tagging, my chest is tagged, my ear is tagged. On and off. Okay, so the article by Dr. MERCOLA, and I am getting palpitations. So while I'm getting palpitations, I'm pulsed on the chest. Each palpitation that shows on the graph is a pulse on the chest. I'm literally being pulsed on the chest. So I am going to take it one more time because that was a very unusual, a very, very unusual graph. I've never seen it like that before. That was 1 minute. And if it continues being like that, then I'll have to stop the video. Still getting palpitations. That was another one. Another one. And this one is looking a little bit more normal. So that was a 1 minute, very, very unusual graph. So I'm glad I captured it on video because I'll download this and match it up with this video to prove that I was on camera when it happened. And there is no activity associated with it. And it's a red alert. I think somebody shouted red alert outside the window. Somebody said something along the lines that you're not allowed to shine. One more time. Yeah. So it would seem to me that I need to be monitored dynamically, continuously. Wow, that was a very, very unusual one. Okay. So I'm going to be doing that periodically. I have absolutely no magnets, and I have no metal around my heart. So it is tagged. But I'm getting actually pulsed, which is going to show up in the data in the microwave detector. I'm getting pulsed, hit. I can actually feel a physical hit in my stomach, like somebody is punching me. Okay, one more graph. I'm not getting palpitations right now. Seem to have settled down, but let me see for sure before I start reading. Yeah, there is this graph is a lot more normal. It's completely normal, as if nothing's just happened. There's a small palpitation there. Another one. So this is how to prevent somebody from getting pulsed. That was another one there. Doing what they want to do, putting blocks in your way. And it says normal. But there were palpitations from there. Okay, so 81 is the heart rate. My blood pressure there. So the article, the search for SARS-CoV-2 origin must continue. Just story at a glance, I'm going to make this fast, because as you can tell, I'm getting palpitations. While some scientists have pushed the idea that SARS-CoV-2 arose and evolved naturally, skipping from one animal species to another before ultimately developing the capability of infecting humans, there is no solid scientific evidence to back this theory, and there should be, were it true. There should be. SARS-CoV-2 has several unique features that make it exceptionally well adapted for human infection. This is odd, considering it hasn't been found in any other living creature. Between 2008 and 2012, more than 1,100 lab incidents involving highly infectious germs were reported to federal regulators. More than half were serious enough that the lab workers required medical evaluation or treatment. One technique that allows scientists to make a pathogen more virulent is called serial passaging. By passing the virus through a series of cells from different animals, the virus progressively adapts to the new host cell. If it turns out that the SARS-CoV-2 is an escape lab creation, the logical conclusion would be that we need to severely restrict or stop gain of function research on pathogens. Sounds so simple, doesn't it? In an in-depth article published in the New York Magazine, dated January 4, 2021, I am getting palpitations again. Nicholson Baker reviews reviews the history of viral gain-of-function research and why the idea that SARS-CoV-2 might be an escape lab creation isn't so far-fetched after all. Huge heart palpitation there. He points out that while there is no direct evidence for an experimental mishap, the key word here is being direct, there is no direct evidence that the virus arose zoonotically either. In other words, while some scientists have pushed the idea of SARS-CoV-2 arose and evolved naturally, skipping from one animal species to another before. So I'm going to have to cut this one short because I am getting, I'll have to go and shield. So let me just do this very quickly. In other words, I said that. In other words, while some scientists have, blood pressure is fine. In other words, while some scientists have pushed the idea that SARS-CoV-2 arose and evolved naturally, yeah, okay, so we got that. I'm being paused to prevent me from talking, from reading. Unique features raise question about SARS-CoV-2 origins. Okay, so skipping ahead, he says who's doing it, who's the doctor who wrote the article. So these are, this is quite odd considering it came out of nowhere. Okay, sorry, let me backtrack that. Actually, let me read this, it's from the top. As noted in August 20th, 2020 article by Lawrence Sullen, PhD, a former researcher with the US Army Medical Research Institute, SARS-CoV-2 has several unique features that make it exceptionally well adapted for human infection. This is quite odd considering it came out of nowhere and hasn't been found in any other living creature. If the virus arose naturally, we should be able to trace its evolution back to its normal, to its source. Okay, so skipping ahead here. So the blood pressure is close to normal. So he tells why it makes the virus, what makes the virus so infectious. Gain-of-function research is a pandemic waiting to happen. One of the reasons scientists would want to promote the zoonotic theory is because their livelihood and careers are at stake. As it turns out that SARS-CoV-2 is an escape lab creation, the logical conclusion would be that we need to severely restrict or stop gain-of-function research on pathogens altogether. It has been a full year and surprisingly no public investigation has taken place, Baker writes. I think it's worth offering some historical context for a year-long medical nightmare. That's the first one. The problem, just skipping ahead here, the problem with this, as the name implies, gain-of-function research is aimed at creating more virulent strains of pathogens by giving them new functionalities. The justification for this hazardous work is that viruses mutate naturally, and we need to be prepared for the kinds of mutations that might arise. The problem with this is that we've not been prepared for any of the lethal pandemics that have arisen, despite investing hundreds of millions of dollars into this kind of research. Still getting heart palpitations here. Apparently, it hasn't given us just got a pulse in the eye. Apparently, it hasn't given us the head start it's supposed to give us, so why continue? Even more disturbingly, there's evidence that this research has caused a number of lethal outbreaks through the years. Many believe it's only a matter of time before scientists cook up something truly horrific, something that would never have risen arisen in nature that might threaten humanity's survival were it to go out. As noted in Baker's article, the intentional creation of the new microbes that combine virulence with heightened transmittability poses extraordinary risks to the public, wrote infectious disease expert. So a lot of this is common sense, right? Why do this kind of research? And it opens up all sorts of situations where when people talk about the possibilities, the first thing that the naysayers come up with is it's a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. This is, these are reasonable grounds for questioning the origin of the virus, man-made or natural. The argument and the evidence seem to confirm that it is man-made. So it's not a conspiracy at all. Just checking my oxygen here. Okay, so it's 96, PI is 5.9, the heart rate is 86. Yeah, and getting palpitations. So I might just have to stop it here. The article goes on to give examples. He described an experiment where the mutations was done by passing the virus through cells of different animals, mice, rodents, hamsters. Okay, so 2 palpitations there. Blood pressure is still semi-normal. Thousands of safety breaches have occurred. So accidents happen. Between 2008 and 2012 alone, more than 1,100 lab incidents involving highly infectious germs were reported to federal regulators, but the details are shrouded in secrecy. It's only a matter of time before something truly nasty gets out. In 2007, live specimens of foot and mouth disease ended up leaking out of a faulty drain pipe at an Institute of Animal Health in Zurich. So he gave some examples. Other incidents were even more serious. So my blood pressure is going up. Other incidents were even more serious. For example, in 2015, the US Department of Defense discovered that a germ warfare testing center in Utah had sent out nearly 200 shipments of live anthrax to labs around the world, including the US, Australia, Germany, Japan, and South Korea. Okay, so you get the idea of the article. It's good to educate ourselves about the circumstances surrounding outbreaks and the result of pandemics and the result of being infected with viruses that causes pandemics like the one that we are going through right now. So yeah, I'm going to stop because I'm getting more and more palpitations. And I assure you, as soon as I go and shield myself, it's all going to stop. Because I can actually feel myself getting pulsed right into the chest. It's as if somebody's punching me. Yeah. And how long has it been? 25 minutes. So the US government suspects lab leaks. Independent investigation required. It all seems, common sense. And yet, inconsistencies in the data raise concerns. And just the last couple paragraphs here. Complicating matters, though, is the fact that China's political system is an authoritarian one. There have been plenty of rumors of Chinese scientists being threatened by the government for speaking out about matters that might damage the nation or cause it to lose face. So while China's foreign military spokesman has pledged China will help the WHO's investigation into the origin of SARS COVID-2 with an open, transparent, and responsible spirit, there's reason to doubt the genuineness of that statement. Be that as it may, we must not give up the quest to determine its origin, because, as mentioned, if it turns out that the virus was created and did escape, whether intentionally or not, we need to ensure that such an event never happens again. And that may mean shutting down and banning gain of function research altogether. Okay, so I'm going to stop it there and go and shield myself, and I'll download that data for you. So the time now is 7:11 p.m. and I'll download that data for the last 27, 28 minutes. Talk to you another time.